Okay, we open this episode with the damage report from the last episode. The E5 is a bit heavily damaged and it will take a few weeks to get repaired. Meanwhile, Shashot is also getting some maintenance, so no Shashot in this episode. Also, Commander Izumi is on vacation, so guess who's now the acting commander? Hanjo. Hanjo, read your email. People like you are the reason why we have to have stupid, pointless meetings that could have been an email. Also, Mihara is also asking him out on a date. Yeah, roll credits. Okay, so now we have Seiryu and Suzaku talking. Suzaku basically wants Seiryu to go to the surface world in disguise as a human in order to figure out what is the difference between man and beast. And he's putting on a facade much like what she does whenever she walks among the humans. Hayato is at Ueno Station listening to the special departure bell, but that's not their only reason to be here. They're headed towards the Museum of Nature and Science. So basically we're fighting villains who are obsessed with evolving, so they might as well learn about actual evolution, and the fact that no one actually wants to animate classroom scenes because those are boring, because this is a normal school. Just move it to a museum of science and nature. Meanwhile, Hanjo is hopelessly smitten by Mihara. Apparently, the kids are just around the corner, and Hayato, Saranuki, and Shinobu are completely oblivious. As Azusa puts it, Antabaka. Also, she has Akta explain the concept to them, and I'm glad to know that they aren't too dense like some anime protagonists. Meanwhile, we get Seiryu at the zoo, who is frustrated about the whole, okay, learn the difference between man and beast thing, eh. At the museum, we get a more detailed dive into human anatomy and physiology that I didn't expect out of a children's show, at this demographic at least. As you can tell, Azusa finds the biology lesson to be a poor date. Meanwhile, the villains are arguing over the whole, we're gonna fight the humans and we have a timer on us. Hanjo and Futaba do a bit of no-nos on dates, and by no-nos, I mean the boring no-nos, such as bringing work into the conversation on a first date. The kids spy, they're not excited. Meanwhile, Azusa on her bathroom break runs into Seiryu on the way out. However, his behavior and vocabulary makes her think that Seiryu is a foreigner. So basically, Azusa has Hayato drag Seiryu towards the nearest train station to talk about the Shinkansen. Obviously, this wasn't going to be a Shinkalion episode without monsters, so, well, these three have to head off. Hayato isn't stupid, and he has his suspicions about Seiryu, but he has to be with Hanjo and Mihara. So, Azusa also says Hayato's name, so they both know who each other are now. Time to reuse some models they had laying around, a trait that Hayato even points out during his own mission control commentary. Saranuki destroys one, while the other two bite it to a cross between the E3 and E6. Everything worked out without Hayato. Meanwhile, Izumi is with Ryuji with a very familiar new train, Dr. Yellow. This episode is a bit in multiple directions for me. Alone, I found it completely enjoyable. I even found it actually pretty funny. But as a whole, I feel like this could have been like two separate episodes, like Hayato and Seiryu and his interactions with his enemies' interactions could be like one episode, while the other episode could just be the other three drivers trying to act without Hayato. And I feel like this would have been better, but maybe that's just because of the anime I have been watching, where they actually drag these into massive story arcs rather than what a weekly show does. Because I feel like my problems with this show are less because I have an issue with the story itself and more like I have been trained by other anime, to anticipate something that's not that. Okay, trained to anticipate something other than what's before me, but those are just my thoughts. Please consider liking, subscribing, tipping the channel on Ko-fi. This is Cyril signing off.